Hello and welcome to Dream Team Coach TV. I'm Sean Burke. Joining me is Andy Taylor, Jack Townsend, and Marco Van Graston. It's Graham Marshall. Yes, we've gone back a few days, but there's still hope. Yes,
I like that though. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Haven't even explored the past yet, or
No.
anyway. So look forward to that. The mystery word game is still going. So if you want to play along and you don't want to know what it is, look away now. And we made some new rules last week. Winner stays on.
Who was it last week? Was it Grace?
I'm not going to tell you, but winner stays on. So keep an eye out for that.
Jack, the way to play this is that I kind of like drift out when I start going on a rant. So when I'm going on a rant, can you keep an eye on Graz? Because he'll just try and slip it in there. Because I zone out and I'm just
I'm man marking Graz.
Yeah.
I'm man marking him. I'm going to do a job. I'm going to mark him out of the game.
Yeah. Now that football is back, we have much to discuss. And though it's returned in an unusual setup, it's nice to see some familiar traits. VAR not working, Roy Keane raging, and Arsenal embarrassing themselves. It's good to be back. They lost to Man City, then lost to Brighton last minute. Neil Maupay says Arsenal need to learn humility. Mate, I think they know. What do you think makes Gwen Doozy's hair so frizzy? So, lads, I know we haven't got all day, but what's wrong with Arsenal?
You've got Graz there.
Well, I
Graz
think we can tick off the chat about where they are in the league and like can they do anything because they're done. Like they're 10th in the league. Burnley are 1 point behind them. Newcastle are 2 points behind them. And I believe that Bruce said that he doesn't think Newcastle are safe yet. So
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal have just clawed themselves to the holy 40-point mark. Just Arsenal fans can accept it's been an absolute car crash of a season. In fairness, I weirdly don't think Arteta's actually done that badly. I just think the club itself is in such a transition period that I don't think you could have brought Jurgen Klopp in there and I don't think he'd have done any better, genuinely.
No.
Just look at what Klopp did when he first came to Liverpool. Like he wasn't finishing top two, I don't believe.
He needed like additions to his squad. He needed things to change around the club, didn't he, before he could make the impact he did now. I think that's the same with Arteta. He hasn't got the pieces that he needs to like take Arsenal from this absolute banter club into some sort of contention.
You're only as good as the tools you've got, aren't you?
Yeah.
So he needs more time to implement.
What the more pressing and more recent matter is obviously David Luiz.
Just announced, signed a 1 year extension to his contract.
So genuinely, can you think of an industry? Well, I mean, there's one quite prevalent political industry at the moment, but there's an industry where you can be that bad at something, at your job, like specifically what you're paid for, like not even at football, like specifically to defend. And then a week later, boom, there's another year, lad. Go on, have a few more million in your back pocket.
He's probably got a big old wage as well. He's probably not. He's probably one of their highest earners, is he not? Do you reckon?
I think to date he's cost them 24 million all in total.
24 million?
I've not seen that officially.
Did they get him on a free to start with?
No, it was like about 6 million or something.
Right.
I mean, straight away, when you get in a lad on a high wage but really low transfer fee, I think that's kind of like alarm bells ringing. I don't know. I just think it's embarrassing. And also the Cedric Soares, the right back they signed from Southampton.
Yeah.
So obviously signed on loan from Southampton. Bit weird straight away, but fair enough if they thought he was going to be a backup. Although surely Bellerin and Maitland-Niles are not the worst right back pairing you've ever seen. And been injured since he started. I think he's just signed a 4-year deal.
Has he?
Arsenal not even seen him on the pitch yet.
Jesus, I'd forgotten we'd even signed him.
I'd forgotten about it. Yeah.
No, well, look, you're getting used to him, Sean, because he's just signed 4-year deal.
4 years.
What could he possibly have done in that time to prove 4 years?
Great cup of tea.
Yeah.
In a position where, like Andy said, we actually look
players.
relatively strong. Like, I don't see Bellerin in particular stepping away from that position anytime soon.
Does that mean he's going, do you think? Do you think Bellerin might be leaving?
I wouldn't. There's been no whispers of it yet.
Did PSG say they were interested?
Well, the Barcelona room is always the one.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that he's not kicked on from what the Bellerin we saw kind of 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
That injury's
He
obviously
had some injuries,
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends how he bounces back, I guess, over the next couple of years.
Do I see Bellerin in that Barcelona team? Absolutely not. But then that's just so harsh on all of that Arsenal side because probably in amongst all that dross they've got, there are 5 or 6 top draw players that put them in any other top draw side and they'll be really good. One question I was asking myself, at what point do we start feeling sorry for them? On a scale of like from when they had the invincible season, right? So obviously at that point, if you're not an Arsenal fan, you kind of hate them because they're just really good. Then they go through all this like turmoil of Wenger and the transition, which is, I think, has just been quite funny. Obviously, Arsenal Fan TV introduction, funny as well. Like they're just the weekly meltdowns is brilliant. Now it's like, actually, I don't see any future for that club in the next 10, 15 years, especially when you look at the strength of Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United. Let's be honest, they are going to come good again. Maybe not league champions, but they are going to be a force. But for Arsenal fans, it's like, maybe that's just where you are. Maybe like Luiz on another 1-year deal, losing Aubameyang to a better club. Like maybe that's just where you are, and maybe actually it's time to just feel a bit sorry for them now.
Yeah. Well, I don't think
it's
I
over.
could ever feel sorry for Arsenal.
Well, if anyone
I'm
on
sorry.
this panel
like,
is not going to give us sympathy.
We were so awful for so long, and you know they didn't feel sorry for us then. So it's just really nice to have a few years potentially here of absolute dross from them, just so that I can feel confident in one thing in the league. Like you say about like there being some good players, like talk about Aubameyang, how great he is. There's obviously was a good player in Ozil once, and there are players scattered throughout that team who like you say, would go to other clubs and do well. But there's just a few too many characters who just, it goes back to this Neil Maupay thing where he said they need to learn humility. There are a few too many players in that squad like that. And I mean, I know the one that he was picking out, everyone seems to think was Guendouzi. Because we did see him on cam a lot, like squaring up to him and like getting in his face.
So that's not sum up. They were showing more passion post-match trying to get in a lad who's just scored the winner against them than they are actually on the pitch just getting into some challenges.
But I mean, the ridiculous thing about that is like, I mean, who thinks, like, does anyone in this like chat right now think that Neil Maupay meant to, severely injure Bernd Leno?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
he's meant to make contact.
Let them know you're there.
And all strikers would do that in that moment.
The reaction from like the Arsenal players and like, Leno obviously was like fuming at him when he was being stretchered off, and like all the Arsenal players after that were apparently sort of giving him grief on the pitch. Like it seems to make me think that they thought Neil Maupay went out with like a dedicated strategy to injure him. I mean, such a freak accident if you've watched the clip. I think most strikers would go for that ball like when it's in the air, give the keeper a little nudge. And 99 times out of 100, they either sort of roll to the floor, drop the ball, and it's all fine.
I was going to say, if anything, Leno, because he knows he's going outside the box, he's planted his foot in a weirder way to try and stop himself going outside the box. But I mean, the push has obviously not helped that. But it's two people's split-second decision that's caused a freak accident.
And one thing that I would praise Arteta for, and I feel like it is a kind of like get out of jail free card that a lot of managers use, is that when things are going badly, let's start throwing some youth players in, because at least we can show that we're kind of looking to the future. But I'm not saying that Arteta's done that. I think that he's done it because they're just clearly better players, and like they're going to work harder for him than what he's got a lot of overpaid lads in there. But I mean, like if you were to compare, say, the most successful youth that we've seen in the last, say, 5 years, which would be Chelsea, if you look at the lads that they've got coming through, I mean, is that Arsenal youth? And by that, I mean kind of Nketiah, Maitland-Niles, Willock, Martin, Saka. Do you think they're on the level of that Chelsea side?
Not yet, I would say. But it'd be curious to see what happens next season. I think Saka in particular looks pretty exciting.
Needs to define a position, doesn't he, I think? Because I don't know whether I think he's too good going forward to be sticking him at left back, do you not think?
Yeah.
So I think he is a left mid that they've just sort of like shoved into left back, right?
Yeah.
Nketiah and Martinelli both look like players.
But while we're on the topic then, predictions for where Arsenal will finish then. If they started off this way with 2 losses in a row.
They're currently sitting, and they where are they? 10th, and they're as close to 15th or 14th place as they are to 5th. The best they could do is probably 8th, but they could quite easily, slip down low into the lower bottom half of the table.
Well, I think their running's tough because they've either got top sides or they've got sides that are playing for their lives at the bottom of the table. Their last 4 games, are Spurs. I mean, that's going to be a big game.
Big game.
Liverpool. Now, I know Liverpool won't be playing for anything, but I mean, Liverpool's second string still going to give you a good game. They're going to have Aston Villa and Watford the last 2 games of the season. I mean, that could be like must wins for both of those teams. I mean, would you want to be playing a Troy Deeney on the last day of the season when he knows he's got to win the game for his club?
I'd like to see him finish bottom half, personally. Like,
that's a surprise, Graz.
I mean, it's not going to be a particular shock, but I just think it goes back again to my childhood growing up as a Spurs fan and seeing Spurs finish like 14th and Arsenal finishing in the top 2 every year and being like, why isn't that us? It'd be really nice just for a change for Arsenal fans to experience what it's like to be down in that spot.
Yeah, we will see. I don't know. My prediction, I think I'll say 10th, really. I think we'll be right in the squidgy middle of the table.
Tussle for 10th.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for 12th.
12th.
I'm going to go 9th. I think they can just about overhaul Palace.
The added crowd noise has been a topic of discussion since the resumption of football. Personally, I like it, but I do wonder, how do they do it? It's the dankest part of the week. Each one of our panelists has created a meme over on our Dream Team Instagram page, and you folks get to vote for your favourite. Right, let's bring on the memes.
Oh, dear.
Bit of a drive, is he?
What has happened to that?
That car's in bits.
Oh, dear.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought the front of the car was going to come off.
What I thought.
Yeah. Keeps you guessing.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah,
all right, next up.
it.
Is that Dim Inside Berbatov?
Music, so chill.
Say yo.
Hey, that's really
good noise.
I like that a lot.
I love the video.
Noise
I can appreciate
and the
a good
music.
meme when I see one.
It's the noise. It's
Oh wow, yeah, it's really, you really do need the volume on for that one.
Oh, you really don't need it that loud though. Not as loud as I had it.
Go on, here we go.
I need to search for a video next time because I still think this is nice.
Yeah,
but it's just not got the same shock impact value as.
And the standard was high with those couple of videos.
Standard was very high this week.
Well, I can reveal the results are in, and in third place with 281 votes is Graz.
Oh, it's a strong week for videos this week.
Well, in second place with only 288 votes is Andy. So
hey, look, I don't mind that.
Only 7 ahead of you. Only 7. But in first place with 890
Oh
votes.
my goodness.
Jack Townsend, he stormed it.
Superb. Can appreciate greatness there.
Well deserved.
Cheers,
That soul-destroying scream. We also have the small matter of the FA Cup to play out, with the quarterfinals taking place this weekend. Norwich versus Man United, Sheffield United versus Arsenal, Leicester versus Chelsea, and Newcastle versus Man City. There's some big names still in the running, and I don't mean Azpilicueta. Well, I don't just mean Azpilicueta. So, who is your tip to lift the cup this year, lads, to start off with, I guess?
Well, just a little one. I don't want to put a down on it, but like, who's that bothered by the FA Cup, really? But I mean, just from like a Wolves perspective, I know I'm a bit biased because we're not in it. But like, firstly, I'm absolutely buzzing about Premier League being back. Buzzing. I'm also buzzing about Championship being back. I mean, I know you boys probably don't dip into it as much as I do, but like, just watching Brentford Fulham at the weekend was just absolutely sublime. Like, just seeing Championship football. Neil Warnock's back in the Championship, by the way.
Yeah,
Middlesbrough.
Getting the band back together. Hopefully Paddy Kenny's going to join Middlesbrough and stuff. And then obviously the Champions League, and that's what I'm saying about Wolves. Like, I obviously can't wait for Europa League and Champions League stuff. So for me, like FA Cup is right at the back of the pile. Like for me, I'm thinking, do I play a bit of Call of Duty on the weekend, or do I watch these? And I'm thinking Call of Duty at the moment, personally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I alone in that or not?
Well, yeah. What are you not liking about the FA Cup? Are you not liking the FA Cup as a whole, or are you just not fancying any of those fixtures? And also, is it a case of the timing, or is this FA Cup in general? Like before the pandemic, I know it was only the earlier rounds, but what about another season? Would you bother watching it?
I think for me, what's exciting about the FA Cup usually is that you often get the giant killing teams, and like it's going throughout the whole season. It dips in and out, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
Because we've just got football back. It's almost a little bit like having an international break that we weren't looking forward to, and then the football comes back, and then there's somehow another international break. Like we've been given this like gift of the football returning, and now it's like, these fixtures aren't really like as important because. They're all Premier League teams.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see them play in the Premier League. How interested are some of these teams going to be? But beyond that, you look at the rest of those fixtures and you think, Sheffield United versus Arsenal. Arsenal at the moment, not looking great. That's an easy one for Sheffield United.
Sheffield United after last week.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, I would genuinely, the only game I want to watch is Sheffield United Arsenal because, let's be honest, like they're going to bully Arsenal off the park, aren't they? Billy Sharp's going to get at least a couple of goals against whoever Arsenal are putting at the back. They're probably going to experiment playing Ozil in a back three.
I think the best actual fixture is Leicester City versus Chelsea, right? Because on paper, those two teams should be pretty good.
To your point on is it circumstance? I'd say it's definitely 75% circumstance. You're right, because there's so much football at the moment. Like I'm actually having to not watch all the Premier League games. Mainly because my missus will get absolutely. Brighton v Leicester on a Tuesday night. But you're right. Like there has to be a pecking order of what games am I going to actually watch, especially on weekends. Especially now we're allowed to go out a bit more. Especially in a few weeks' time, we're definitely going to be going out a bit more.
4th of July.
Am I going to be sitting in watching what you're saying, Graz? Is essentially just a bang average Premier League game, but just in the FA Cup.
Which, again, will they be that bothered about? And if you look at the teams that are left in it, and you look at the performances of the teams so far in the Premier League, I can't really see past Manchester City just sort of walking it.
I really like Chelsea for it. I just think since we've come back, and they've had Loftus-Cheek in particular come back to full fitness, it's made my eyes open to how much depth that squad has.
It'd be a real cherry on top of their season as well. If you talk about how fun they were to begin with when they were just playing almost all youth players, everyone being really excited about Lampard being the manager and how that was going to go. If they were to top it all off with top four, winning the FA Cup, and then next season it's this is the season where we really go for it. Bringing in Werner and that Ziyech's going to be here next season as well. That could be very exciting.
Are they still going to be so youth-centric now their transfer ban's gone?
No, they seem like they've dropped that almost immediately as they could.
It's hard. I genuinely believe that Lampard will have a tendency just to still stay. If you look at Mason,
I think he'll stay loyal. Yeah,
Mason Mount looked unreal. He is still a top player. It just means that they won't be reliant on the youth guys. I think they'll be reliant on the foreign imports, and then the rest of the squad is made up from youth guys, as opposed to at the moment it's if these young lads don't perform, we're going to do really badly. The one I feel sorry for is Tammy Abraham, basically.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way that he's getting anywhere near that starting 11. And also I think they're looking to potentially, I don't know whether they have already, but Giroud might be signing for another year, which is we've seen that Giroud's actually started games ahead of Abraham. So if Abraham goes down to third choice, well, he's better than that. He's just scored 15 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah, you think that'll be enough to get him starting, no?
Unless brutally Lampard just thinks that's as good as you're ever getting, with your skill set. Yeah, he doesn't. When you watch him, he doesn't scare you. I don't think centre halves would be scared to play against Tammy Abraham. He's just got the knack of scoring goals.
Is Giroud getting kept around as a senior figure?
He's
in the strike force to kind of take Tammy under his wing a bit.
I mean, he's a good backup option as well. Is the thing that Giroud's always been. The World Cup win, they played him every game, even though he didn't score, because he was perfect in that sort of setup of letting players run off him and holding the ball up.
Isn't that like the holy grail of a backup player? Because that's one of the biggest issues that big football clubs have, is that they've got really good backup players, but their attitude stinks because they're not playing. Giroud has made a living out of basically sitting on the bench a lot of the time, but still comes on and really performs well for you. Like the amount of times Arsenal just started him for a random game and he scored 1 or 2, and everyone was like, why does this lad not start for us? And I think he's done it for Chelsea.
Yeah. He's made a nice niche for himself. He's at the stage where a lot of players would probably leave the Premier League now in terms of age and go somewhere else, but he seems happy to do the job, and it's working out for him. Right, now it is time for Weekender. It's a weekly game where you pick 7 players, a goalkeeper, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and 2 strikers to be in your team, with a real cash prizes up for grabs every week. So you can sign up to play on our website or app. Just make sure you do it before the weekend's fixtures. Our panelists have picked their Weekender teams already as they compete against each other to avoid the dreaded mystery forfeit at the season's end. Okay, who won the memes? Jack, you won the memes, so you can...
I did. Yeah, so in my team, in goal, I've got Edison. I just, as good as Newcastle were against Sheffield United, I just think Man City have been a different league since coming back. And then in defence...
Bravo might play.
Oh, yeah, probably. Probably. Take.
We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I don't like to break it to you, Jack. So Man City have played 10 games in total in the FA Cup, EFL Cup and Community Shield. And Claudio Bravo started all 10.
Yeah.
He even played even played the EFL Cup final.
Put it this way, Jack, right? If Man City concede a load of goals now, your quid's in.
I'm backing Newcastle. The 3-0 rampant. Forget anything I just said.
All right. Next up, Andy.
Basically, I've gone Wolves heavy. It's a massive Midlands derby against Villa. Obviously, if you saw Wolves last weekend, we looked unbelievable, like really good. Even though Matt today absolutely killed us because they showed just our 2 goals and then all of West Ham's like half chances. And yet we actually had like 60% possession. I mean, not that I'm bitter, but we had like 60%.
Sounds like you are a bit bitter though.
And like 7 shots on target. And I'm like, you've just shown us 2 breakaway goals.
So you're fine about it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, clearly it hasn't bothered you. All right. And Graz, who've you got on your team?
I stuck very Wolves like Andy. You can't really bet against them at the moment. They looked really good, as Andy said. So I've gone Patricio and Doherty. I haven't gone with another Wolves player there. I've gone with Chilwell, particularly after that like unbelievable goal against Watford. I'm really hoping he continues to pick up points like that. I mean, he's one of those like rare sort of fullbacks who like gets forward, but also he does love the defending as well. Like Leicester don't let that many goals in.
Is he going to Chelsea?
I mean, hopefully not before this FA Cup game. Jesus Christ! Like,
no. But...
God help the Premier League if they signed Chilwell at left back, Reece James right back. Jeez.
Yeah, it would be absolutely mad.
That's Liverpool levels.
I'd hate to say it because, like, really realistically, I'd quite like Leicester to go on a bit of a run with this sort of project they've got at the moment. If they can hang on to their players like Maddison, Chilwell, and like give it a couple of seasons where see where they can get, that would be fantastic. But you know, I'd understand if he did go elsewhere. For the Man City pick, rather than going up front, I've gone for Sterling. I just think particularly
he could play up top on his own. I like that, Graz. Yeah,
particularly because of the Aguero injury. I think if they don't play Jesus or if they keep him as a bit of an impact sub, he might go play through the middle. And then can't ignore Jimenez at the moment.
Right, decent bit of variety there. Look forward to seeing what happens. But for now, let's see how you did last week, lads.
Oh, I don't think I did very well.
I think did we all have Sheffield?
We all had a lot of Sheffield, so that doesn't matter too much. But I had Salah and he didn't play.
First up is Andy.
Oof. Oh dear.
Oh.
Doherty.
30 points.
10.
Wolves.
Yeah, well, don't bet against us, lads.
Well, look, I've not made that mistake again this week, so don't you worry.
Right, and next up is Jack with 16 points.
Oh, thank God.
16 points there, Jack. Still almost half of what Andy got.
Yeah.
Neither striker scored. That is a shame.
That is
Yeah,
bad.
that Aubameyang and Vardy really let me down there.
I think I had Aubameyang as well, didn't I?
So, Graz, you got.
Yes!
Oh,
Wow, you
dude.
had Chilwell as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chilwell. You helped out as much as you could there.
Yeah, he did. He put in.
Put in absolute work. I mean, all of those points are his basically, because all Traore is doing is cancelling out the minuses.
Right. On another note, mystery word.
Oh, didn't even fit. I've completely forgot we were playing it, by the way.
I think you're going to be upset about this.
So it was said way at the start.
I don't think they're going to work it out because I think it's one of those.
He did a bit of a sneaky.
He
did a bit of an Andy on it.
Took a leaf out of Andy's book, sneaking it in a slightly weird way.
The word was Camelot.
I do remember you saying that.
But he said Guendouzi was on Camelot.
Oh, I don't know
Hang on,
about that.
everyone absolutely ruined me for when I did that.
But you said it was fine. You said it was fine. So, I'm
No,
agreeing
we
with you.
did.
No, you didn't. I absolutely
didn't.
got battered for it.
By us, yeah, but then you said
and-
it was fine, and the comments said it was fine.
Absolute hypocrite.
And
Okay, right.
Yeah, I
okay.
think you got it again. So this is some hot streak you're on, Graz.
Oh, well, I don't know. Controversial hot streak.
know.
This is one of those ones that won't count in the official countings, like Pele's goals.
This is like scoring against the Navy.
yeah.
Well, that is all from us, folks. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Dream Team Coach TV. In the meantime, download the app, fix up your dream teams, and sort out your weekenders. But for now, we will talk to you next week. Take care.
Bye.